Hey everyone, a very good morning and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. So let's jump to today's question. This is the question number 1482. Minimum number of days to make M bouquets, right? So in the question, we are given an integer array bloom day, which and an integer M and K, right? So you want to make M bouquets, and to make M bouquets, you need at least K adjacent flowers from the garden, right? So basically in my garden we have n flowers, which is represented by the bloom day array, and now the ith flower will bloom on the bloom day of I, right? On this particular day my ith flower will bloom. Okay, so then only we can then we and then can we use exactly one in bouquet, right? So we can simply use one flower in only one bouquet. We cannot reuse it. Okay, so we have to return the minimum number of days we will need to be able to make m bouquet from the garden. And if it is impossible for you to make m bouquets, you have to return -1, right? So basically we are given adjacent flowers list, which is this, and in this array we are given that on which day my particular flower will bloom, right? And we can consider our flower in my bouquet only when it's bloom, right? So we have to make m bouquets, and in one bouquet you should have k flowers, and you have to return the minimum number of days which will take you to make m bouquets from the garden, right? Now, first of all, we have to consider the range of days, right? When we can consider making bouquets, right? So here you can see in this array the minimum possible day when any flower blooms, which is the smallest value in the bloom day array, right? So we have to find the minimum possible day. So here you can see this is one, right? One is the minimum possible day when any flower bloom, and this is the earliest day when we can start considering making bouquets, right? Before this day we cannot start considering making bouquets because no flower blooms before this particular day, right? So this is the minimum day from when we can start making our bouquets. Now let's find the maximum possible day. So the maximum possible day when any flower blooms, which will be the largest possible number in the bloom day array, because this is the last day we need to consider, because after this particular day no flower is going to bloom, right? So this is the last day we will be considering. So basically we have to find the minimum and the maximum range of day, which we can consider for making bouquets, and then we will find the day in this range which is suitable for making exactly m bouquets in minimum possibilities, right? So let us say my minimum possible day is 1 for this example, right? And maximum possible day for this example. So yeah, basically this is the minimum possible day when we can start considering our, you can say, making bouquets, and this is the maximum possible day. Now in this range from 1 to 10, we will we will just check for each and every day from 1 to 10, and we will see now if it is possible for me to make m bouquets or not, right? So let's check one by one. Let's say that I'm starting from the day 1, right? So on day 1 I will check if it is possible for me to make m bouquets of k size. So here k equal to 1, so basically we have to make bouquets of one flower only, right? So I'll check on day 1 if it is possible. So let's start from the here, from here, very first element. Now here you can see it is blooming on day 1 only. So yeah, my one flower is blooming, so I can make one bouquet. Again, when I will move to next element, I cannot find any element which is blooming on day 1, right? Any flower which is blooming on day 1. So you cannot make any bouquet more than one on day 1. So day 1 is not allowed, because basically we had to make m bouquets m equal 3 here, right? So I'll move to day 2. Now for day 2 also, again I will check if it is possible for me to make m bouquets. So you can see on day 2 only 2 flowers are blooming, which is this and this, right? So only 2 flowers are blooming on day 2. So basically cannot make m bouquets on day 2 also, so you will move to another day, which is day 3, right? Now on day 3 again you will check if it is possible. So yeah, you can see on day 3 three flowers, exactly three flowers are blooming, which is this and this, right? So on day 3 you can make m bouquets. So day 3 is the minimum possible day when it you will be able to make 3 bouquets, right? So this will be our answer. Now let's observe one thing. This particular array was small, and we were able to find we were able to make m bouquets on day 3 only, right? So it was pretty cool. But when you constraint in here, you can see the number of flowers in my array is about 10 to the power 5, which is going to be super large, right? So you cannot just start from the day 1 and keep on checking till the last day one by one. Then this is going to be it is going to take so much time, and this will not be an efficient approach. So instead of considering each and every day one by one, let us why not consider a binary search, right? So here we will take only logarithmic time, so it will be more efficient, right? So let's go with the binary search for this example only. Now let's suppose this is initial my low and high, which was day 1 and day 10, and let's consider my mid, right? So here my mid will be 5. So now I will check for day 5, right? So now let's check for day 5. On or before day 5, how many flowers has bloom, I have to check that only, right? So before day 5, this is the flower, this is the flower, and this is the flower. Only 3 flowers are there. Okay, so now let's consider for this particular mid, which is 5. Now I'm saying on day 5, I have to count the number of bouquets I can make, right? So here you can see we could make only 3 bouquets. So yeah, we could make 3 bouquets. Now if my number of bouquets are less than or equal to the required number of bouquet, which is m, then we will keep on checking for the lower days, right? Because we want to get the minimum possible day, right? So here I'll make my high equal mid minus 1, right? Because I have to check for the lower days now. So my low will be low and my high will become mid minus 1, which is 4, right? So now again I will check. So for this particular thing, my mid will be 4 plus 5 by 2, 2. Right. Now for day 2, I will check how many bouquets I can make. So I can see on day 2 only 2 possible bouquets are only 2 bouquets are possible to make. So my bouquet number is 2. Now my required number of bouquet was 3, and here I'm getting only 2 bouquets, right? So I will have to increase my day, and I'll have to check for higher days because this is the less number of bouquets we are getting, right? So I will increase my low as mid plus 1, which is surely 4, and my high will be 4 only, right? Now again let me find the mid, which is 7 by 2, 3, right? Okay, so now I will check for day 3. Now on day 3 I can see I can make 3 bouquets, right? So my number of bouquets will be 3, right? Now these bouquets are less than or equal to the required number of bouquets, right? So I'll check for the lower days again. So let's say my low will be this and my high will be mid minus 1, which is 3. So yeah, on day 3 again I'll see this will be the mid, and I will have to check for day 3 only. So on day 3 I could make 3 bouquets, which is again equal to or more than the number of bouquets. So I'll check for the lower days again. My low will be this and my high will be mid minus 1, which is 2. Now once you find that your high has become less than low, then you are here you have to stop the computation, and now you basically find out your answer or the minimum possible day when you could make m bouquets, right? So this is going to be our approach. So let's try to code it now. Okay, so let me code it. So basically, let us say this is an array. For simplicity, I am writing it as array. Okay. Now let us say let n be the total number of flowers. Here, total number of flowers will be equal to the number of element in this particular array. Now I will find my low and high, right? So for low and high, let us say my low is the minimum possible day which is there in my this bloom day array, right? So this will be the minimum element in my array. So this is the minimum element in my array which I can find with the help of min element function. Okay, now this is the maximum element which I will be taking as a high. Right, and which is again now this is my initial low and high. Let us make a mid, and I will keep on finding the minimum possible day until my low is less than equal to high, right? So here I will be calculating mid, which is equal to low plus high by 2. Right, now for this particular mid, or you can say this particular day, I have to check if I have to basically count the number of bouquets I can make on this day, right? So let us say this function is giving me the number of bouquets. So count bouquets, and I'll give it my array, my mid, and okay, right? So it will count the number of bouquets which I can make on this day, right? So if my bouquets are less than or equal to the required number of bouquets, then I have to consider this as a candidate of my answer, and I have to check for the lower days now, right? So I will keep my high as mid minus 1, right? Now again, if the number of bouquets are less than the required number of bouquets, then definitely I'll go for the higher days. I will have to check for higher days, right? And I'll keep my low as mid plus 1. And here I will be returning my answer. Let me make an answer as well. So let us see, initially my answer is minus 1. And one more base case I have to check. Suppose if your total number of flowers available is less than the number of bouquets required into k, right? Because this will be the total number of flowers we will need to make m bouquets, right? Suppose one bouquet need k flowers, right? So m bouquet will need m into k flowers. These are the total number of flowers which we will need to make m bouquets, right? Now if your given number of flowers are less than the total number of flowers which we will require to make m bouquets, then this is not at all possible for me to make m bouquets, right? So simply I'll return minus 1 in this case, right? So basically if m into k, which is yeah, m into k is less than the total number of flowers available, sorry, less, not, it should be greater than, right? So if my required number of flowers are greater than the number of flowers available, then I'm going to return minus 1 in this case. And if it is not, then definitely I'll go for each and every day. Now let's make a function of count bouquet, which will give you the count of bouquet you can make at a particular day, right? So it was taking array as arguments and the day which we are considering, and then integer k, right? So now here I will be counting the number of bouquets, and let us say I have to make a bouquet of k consecutive flowers, right? So I have to count if it is possible for me to to make a to get the k consecutive flowers which are already bloomed, right? So I'll check for the k consecutive flowers with the help of the count variable, right? So I'll start iterating in my array starting from the 0 till end, and I will check if my current count is equal to k, right? Like suppose if I have got the k consecutive flower, then definitely I can make one bouquet from them. So I will increase my number of bouquet and I will decrease my count to 0, because now again I have to start counting from 0, right? Now if my current element, if the bloom day of my current element is less than or equal to the current day which I am considering, right? So definitely I can take this flower in my count, and if it is not, then I will have to keep my count as 0 because the consecutiveness has already broken, right? Now after uh, now after this loop again I will have to check if the count has become equal to k, right? If it is, then I can increase my number of bouquets, and here I will be returning my number of bouquets simply, right? So this is the solution. Now let's run it. I think anything goes wrong. Let me just check. This is all right. Okay, array dnk. Now here we were checking the number of days. If it is low is the minimum element and high is the maximum possible element, right? If low is less than high, I have to keep low plus I by 2. Number of bouquets are like this. If, oh sorry, if the number of bouquets are greater than or equal to the required number of bouquets, then I have to consider this in my answer, and I had to check for the lower days, otherwise I had to check for the higher days, right? So this was the problem. Fine, now it's working. Okay guys, so it's working. So basically in this question, yeah, so basically in this question, instead of checking for each day one by one, we were applying binary search to efficiently find the minimum number of days which we will require to make m bouquets. Now the main problem was getting the range of the day where we have to check, right? So the range will be like minimum possible day will be the minimum element of the array, and the maximum possible day will be the maximum element, right? Because before the minimum possible day and the maximum possible day, no flower is going to bloom at all. So we are only concerned about these days, right? And from this range, I have to find out a day where I can make m bouquets, right? So this was the whole solution. Now, even if you have any doubt in the question, you can ask in comment box. I'll resolve your doubt. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.